I'd like to begin by asking you a question that may sound a bit outlandish at first. Are we living in a video game? Now, before you dismiss this idea as science fiction or the rumblings of conspiracy theories, let's embark our journey on this captivating thought. So, the idea that we might be living in a simulation is not entirely new. But first, let me tell you a sweet short story about myself. When I was a young teenager, I used to play lots of games. So much that my parents were concerned sometimes. And during this frustration times of me playing video games, my mother told me, "Arsine, you should stop playing video games, because one day you will end up in one of them." As a young teenager, I had to give a quick response to whatever she said. And I replied, "Well, what if all of us are already living in a video game?" That this offhand remark will force me to delve into the most captivating thought experiment of our time. The idea that we might be living in a simulation is not entirely new. In fact, it's been gaining traction in recent years thanks to brilliant minds like philosopher Nick Bostrom. So he proposed this hypothesis called simulation hypothesis, which suggests that one of three scenarios must be true. Okay. Scenario number one. First scenario suggests that advanced civilizations never or rarely create realistic simulations. Well, in this case, the chances of us being in a simulation are pretty low. Scenario number two. Scenario number two suggests that if advanced civilizations do create realistic simulations, then for some various reasons, they choose to not run them. Again, in this case, the probability of us being in a simulation is pretty remote. But then, there is scenario number three. This scenario sparks our imaginations, because it suggests that if advanced civilizations do create realistic simulations and run many of them, then statistically speaking, most probably we are in a simulation rather than in the base reality. Even Elon Musk once said that there is a 1 to billion chance that we are living in base reality. Now, I know some of you might disagree with this statement, but it's clear that it's a very intriguing concept and it warrants exploration. One argument that supports this hypothesis comes from the nature of our physical laws. Some scientists noticed that the constants and the physics laws are so finely tuned that they create exactly the universe and the life as we observe it. And let me bring an example of this constant. Let's say the rate of expansion of the universe, the ratio of dark matter to normal matter, the strength of electromagnetic fields. There are dozens of these examples. And scientists also noticed that the slightest change, so these constants are so precise that the slightest change would result in a universe very different from ours. So now, do you know how programmers program the games? Like in the code, they include every detail, like the color of the object, if it's a high quality game, the height of the grass, even the number of hair on the character's head. That's insane, right? In this case, it's as if someone programmed these constants and physics laws to support the reality, the life, the way it is. Okay, let me bring another example, another argument that supports this hypothesis. Let's go to the world of quantum mechanics. So, in the world of quantum physics, particles can be in multiple states simultaneously until they're observed. This phenomenon strangely resembles the way games load, trying to save computational resources. Okay, let me bring an example for a better understanding. Does everyone know GTA? The game? Yeah, it's a game, video game, where you're in a virtual world, you can move wherever, you can do lots of things. So let's say you are playing GTA online and you're using our school connection, which is not very good. In this case, you will have high chances to notice lags. Let's say you are already in the game and you turn your character 180 degrees to your left. This is the chances of you seeing this are very high because it lags, right? So when you're still in the game and you look at the sky, you see like it's night, you see all these stars, moon in the virtual sky, and automatically you assume that everywhere in the city, in the game, it's night, right? So like if you turn around, you're gonna see stars again. Like in reality, like I can see it's daytime, there is sun, so I assume everywhere in the city, it's day now. Meanwhile, in the game, there is nothing out of your view. So if you're looking at that object is gonna load and you're gonna see it. But out of your view, there is nothing. There is blank space, like white space, like this. And you can notice it only when the connection is bad and it lags because you turn very fast and the game doesn't manage to load the resources. So what I'm trying to say is, what if the connection or the internet for reality, the reality simulation, is so fast that we can barely see the lags of reality? However, there is another phenomena that can replace these lags. Has everyone heard about Mandela effect? It's a phenomena when large groups of people remember information incorrectly. For instance, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, this episode, lots of people, even devoted Star Wars fans, remember the line as, "Luke, I am your father." However, in reality, Darth Vader said, "No, I am your father." So lots of people, big group of people, remember this piece of information incorrectly. Let me bring another example. Does everyone know Pikachu? Yeah, okay. Okay, so now I have a question. If you think that the real Pikachu is the one on your right, raise your hand. Okay. If you think that the real Pikachu is the one on your left, raise your hand. Yeah, more people. I agree with you. I was one of the people that thought the real Pikachu is the one on the left. I'm sorry to disappoint you, the real Pikachu is the one on the right. The one on the left never existed. Pikachu never had this black spot on its tail. So how is it that this big group of people collectively misremember Pikachu? Okay, some scientists suggest that it can be the glitches in simulation, the glitches in reality, like there are glitches in video games, you know? When you play a game and the character's animation goes awry. So the same thing happens in reality. Okay, now let's take a look at the philosophical implications of this concept. Do they impact our understanding of morality, ethics, and life? Does the fact that our life might be a construct of a more advanced civilization and that our steps might be predetermined and programmed by others negate the concept of free will and responsibility? Or does it give us a unique chance to find meaning and give meaning to the simulation life we have? There are many questions like this, and all of them can can question our fundamental understanding of life and our existence. But while I'm talking about implications, one might ask, is there a concrete proof? Well, skeptics rightfully also ask for a concrete proof for simulation hypothesis. However, there is no such evidence yet. And we should accept that the absence of this evidence doesn't necessarily reject the hypothesis. Let me bring another example for you to understand this. Do you know Truman Show? Okay. So it is about a man who is trapped in this show, and there are lots of actors and everyone pretends to be part of it, so he never realizes that he is in the show and he is being filmed. Of course, he's in the show, he's not in a simulation, but the concept is very similar. When players play games, they are not supposed to know about the game glitches, about the game coding, or any other details. So wouldn't it make sense for our simulation creators to ensure that it will be uneasy for us to detect it? So maybe we are in a simulation, but we haven't discovered it yet. In conclusion, are we living in a video game? Yeah, this question doesn't have an answer yet. The answer is a mystery. But it's a mystery that invites us to explore the boundaries of human knowledge and imagination. What I would suggest is keep asking questions, seek knowledge, and let's build bridges between reality and imagination. Thank you for joining me on this fascinating journey of contemplation. And, you know, if we keep going and asking these questions, perhaps one day we will uncover the truth behind the ultimate reality. Thank you.